Premier League has lost a star. Michael Olise has made the big summer move to Bayern Munich from Crystal Palace. Is this the move that Bayern needed? Is this the player that Vincent Company needed to fit the pieces in the Bayern Munich confusing puzzle? It is the biggest move of summer transfer window so far. Michael Olise has moved from Crystal Palace to the Bundesliga side, Bayern Munich, for 50 million euros. Joining Vincent Company there at Bayern Munich and being their first big signing of this new regime. They've taken a left field route in many people's regards, and also with me as well. I did not expect Vincent Company to be given that job, and neither did I expect Michael Olise to end up leaving the Premier League. It's a massive loss for the Premier League, but a huge gain for Bayern Munich and for Vincent Company's side. I am a very strongest Palace invested person. You can see the kit behind me. He is a superstar that gains my attention and probably one of my most favourite players to watch in the Premier League because he makes things happen on a football pitch. There was fresh faces needed at Bayern Munich. We all can agree on that. Last season was heavily underwhelming. No German Cup, no league title, and then knocked out by Real Madrid in the Champions League as well. It was underwhelming. Thomas Tuchel ends up going and making way. In comes Vincent Company. It's the first surprise with a lot of big names around, like I said, Nagelsmann, Hansi Flick. Do they come back? Do they get and poach Erik ten Hag away from Manchester United? There's a lot of communications, but never was Vincent Company thrown up in the mix. He ends up making the move there. And I guess in a sort of similar theme, no one really thought Michael Olise would end up at FC Bayern Munich. Yes, things fell through between Chelsea. Yes, Man United didn't pursue him hard enough, but it always felt like he was destined to stay in the Premier League. But it's a massive game for Bayern Munich. This guy's a very tricky player, a player that adds a little bit of a different spark to this Bayern Munich side from the wing that I think they currently have right now. Yes, they've got some talented players like Serge Gnabry and Leroy Sané. Jamal Musiala can sometimes go out to the flanks. But this is a different player that I think add that missing piece to the puzzle for Bayern Munich. They really struggled last season. Obviously, they finished third, 18 points behind Leverkusen, who well and truly out-coached and was outplayed and every time they met up in the league. Yes, it looks like the defence is needed to be reinforced, but they do need fresh faces in the final third as well. And me and Nat here in the podcast said a few things have to be changed. And I was big on getting rid of the likes of Leroy Sané, Serge Gnabry, and starting something different on the flanks. And this, I think, is a really, really good pickup. We look at Michael Olise's stats from last season. A 23-24 season was very successful for him when he played. 10 goals, 6 assists from his 19 Premier League appearances. I believe he only made the 13 starts, so more goal contributions and starts made for Michael Olise. He adds that flair, that dynamism, but he's not one of those sort of out-and-out sprinters, pacey wingers. He's got that more trickery, comfortable with the ball at his feet, and surprising for a player, I guess, of his sort of mould, he makes the right decisions. His intellect in the final third, intelligence on the ball, is actually really, really an underrated part of his game. Can play ball to the lines, and we saw in the final few match weeks that link up with Jean-Philippe Mateta and also his partner in crime over there, Eberese Eze, was really, really exciting to see. I think when great players are surrounded by him, I think he elevates his game. A player that was, yes, a lot of the time injured last season, yes, struggled at the start of the year, but when it comes to the middle point and the end point of the season, big games and big moments, he was stepping up. I still remember out at Man City, that performance away from home when the Crystal Palace side got a result. He was massive that game on the counter-attack, being smart when he got the ball and making the most of his limited chances. And he now steps up to a team where they're going to be attacking constantly. 65, 70% possession times at games in the league, sometimes in the Champions League. The more chances this guy gets on the ball, the dangerous, I feel like, the more dangerous he can get. He's someone that thrives on limited chances. You give him more opportunity and more ball to play with and better players around him. I can only see Michael Olise elevating his level to an even higher degree. The one problem coming into it, though, is the injury problem. Bayern Munich struggled with injuries last season, especially those wide players. And Michael Olise, across the last 2 seasons, has been someone who's been hampered by these soft tissue injuries and knocks he's picked up. Like when he's on the pitch, arguably the best player on any day in the Premier League. And I'm speaking about on any team, every situation, he can be the biggest game changer on the pitch, but it's about him being available, being on the pitch. He was a lot of times out, needing to be rested because of the injuries he's picked up, and there's a worry there that going across to Bayern Munich, the problems they had last year and the injuries, it might compound that. Hopefully not, though, because he's such a player with flair, with excitement, that he does, I guess, put himself at risk of injury with the way he plays his football, but the way he plays his football gets chances, gets people's bums off their seats and gets his team playing a more attacking style of football. And I think that he'll bring that to this Bayern Munich side. Outperformed his XG and assists last season, showing his clinicalness, his intelligence on the ball, and the ability to play the right pass at the right point in time. He was the top 1% for goals, shots, and combined goal and XG and XA, last season, meaning basically in simple term, he's maximising opportunities. For the shots he takes, he scores more than he will miss, and he makes the most out of facilitating other players. John Philippe Mateta said Eberete Eze, very, very pivotal to making those players around him better. So if he's in a system at a club at Crystal Palace, which are not great, I'll be honest, I have a soft spot for them, but they're not the highest quality talent. You're going to a top team, a top 5 team in Europe, like Bayern Munich, surrounded by Harry Kane, Jamal Musiala. You got the likes of Leroy Sané. You compete with that spot, but he might be alongside the likes of him, Alphonso Davies, Joshua Kimmich. The players that are at elite level around him, his assist numbers, his creation will just go through the roof. He's forced to sometimes be that hero ball type player because he's the only one up top that can create something out of nothing. And that's a facility of a player and a quality of player that is sometimes needed in these big teams, the ability to create something where there is no chance to be created. Jamal Musiala is fantastic. We saw a lot of times last season, picking the ball up, driving into spaces which seem impossible and coming out, getting through defenders and scoring. That's what Michael Olise can also bring to this Bayern Munich side. And it'll be really, really important for this Bayern Munich side under Vincent Company. A big stat, probably the biggest for me, is he creates 6 shot creating actions per 90 minutes in a Crystal Palace team, which for half the season was under Roy Hodgson, which played really, really negative football, pragmatic, defence first, track back first. So in fact, you're creating 6 shot creating actions on average per 90 around the season, shows his ability to make other players around him better. I think that's the key point of this move. He will make these Bayern Munich players, Harry Kane, who had a fantastic, even better. Jamal Musiala, take the load off him. And because of the trickery and the smarts he has on the ball, he's not just a pacey up and down the flank type winger like Leroy Sané. He will add something else where he'll be able to tuck inside and allow fullbacks to bomb on around him, allow the likes of Harry Kane to be fed through with some great delivery, which was lacking last season. Leroy Sané, Serge Gnabry don't add that sort of elite level facilitation like Michael Olise can add. Looking here, 3 successful take-ons per game puts him in the top 10% for attacking midfielders and wide players. And also smarts with the ball at his feet. 85% pass accuracy for a player that takes a lot on, has to do a lot for Crystal Palace. Shows me he has got what it takes. He has the ability on the ball. He has the talent to play those passes. Looking at Vincent Company's philosophy and how he'll fit in with that. He likes about that pressing system. He likes to play out from the back. But somewhere where he'll fit in nicely is he likes to throw sort of 5 players up top. That means fullbacks will push on. They'll join the attack. And means wingers will have to come inside and be a bit more narrow at times. That's where Michael Olise can do his best work. I feel like those sort of cutting inside, shots from outside the box, those inside runs is where he operated his best. Yes, he has some great work out on the flank, but he's a player that likes hitting the ball and come a bit narrow as much as possible to facilitate a strike or make chances for himself. So that ability to tuck inside to allow the Joshua Kimmiches or the Mazaris or the Alphonso Davies, whatever side they put him on, to go and bomb around him will actually help him out. Facilitate him and his ability to create chances for himself and score fantastic goals and set up fantastic assists by coming inside. Obviously, he uses the overloads in wide spaces. He attacks the half spaces as well. So the ability on the ball for Michael Olise to slip someone through in the half space, or him making the run in the half space to get on the end of a ball from a Mazari or Joshua Kimmich, that's when he can get dangerous. And I feel like these sort of inside movements that he makes and that Vincent Company want him to make will actually be a benefit for his football. We see a lot of his best work when he cuts inside, when he's able to run out central defenders and use his trickery to get past them. That's where he had his best work. So, Vincent Company, we see what he's done last few seasons. Manuel Benson in the Championship, Wilson Odobert last season for Burnley, the Premier League. These young players, he seems to flourish with them. Yes, Michael is not a young player, but he plays with flair. And Vincent Company allows his squads to play with flair. He's a player that's dealt with basically an average over 25 last season was the Burnley average age. They're a young squad. He got the best out of Odobert. He got the best out of Manuel Benson the year before. He seems to get the best out of his players on the right-hand side, the players with trickery. They're not just out-and-out pace players, like the likes of Leroy Sané and Serge Gnabry that will play out on the right. He gets the best out of his players who are more the trickery players, who can drop the shoulder, can drive inside, can dribble into spaces and open things up for others around them. That's the player that Michael Olise, that's the mould he's in. So I'm really, really excited to see Michael Olise working under Vincent Company, working at a team like Bayern Munich and see how he can not only improve them, but improve himself. And if he stays in the park for long periods of time, you know how many games Bayern Munich want to play. They want to be going deep in the German Cup, going deep in Europe, winning the Bundesliga. He will feature a lot this season. I feel like it's a sign that's been talked about a lot in England, but not enough globally. This is a big move for a player that's a star of the Premier League. Can he hit that jump to be a European, like a star across the big European leagues? Because he's known in England. Can he be known abroad? I think that's a big step for him. Looking at the players in his position, I've touched on a few. Serge Gnabry only made the 20 appearances, 5 goals and 2 assists. Really poor year for him, hampered by injuries. Leroy Sané would be the competition on the right-hand side. Had a good stat season, 42 appearances with 10 goals and 13 assists, but didn't feel like he had a great end to the year. When Bayern needed players to step up, it was Harry Kane or nothing, or Jamal Musiala or nothing. That right-hand side was often really, really quiet. Leroy Sané struggling. One of the Champions League games, he was really, really good, but outside of that, really quiet. And I was probably hypercritical on him, but I feel like he wasn't at his best. We've seen it even for Germany at the European Championships. He was brought in to replace Florian Wirtz. When Florian Wirtz was introduced in that game versus Spain, he makes an impact and scores a goal. So Leroy Sané isn't the player I remember for Man City or when he initially joined Bayern Munich. He's a player that relies a lot on pace and power. And if that part of his game goes because of the injuries he's getting, he loses his number one attribute. Michael Olise, as I said throughout this whole video, is a player of tease, of touch, of dropping the shoulder, the smarts on the ball, ability to drive past defenders, make the right reads, take on the games. I play with flair. I want to take it on, progress the team forward, not so regimented. It might work at this Bayern Munich side where I feel like they were all very regimented last season. They were lacking creativity and lacking a spark. Michael Olise fills those two roles really, really well. And I think that's what this squad might need, right? As I said, fresh faces were needed. Leroy Sané, fantastic player, a really, really good level, high elite level player. Michael Olise, a diamond in the dust, sort of, in the dirty, the rubble. Tied up a few things with his game. Maybe increase that pass actually a little bit higher towards the 90%. But he's trickery in the ball. The fact that he's not just an out-and-out pace player. Jamal Musiala was fantastic, probably their best player last season. He's not a player that used out-and-out pace on the wing. He's a player with trickery and with smarts and intelligence on the ball. Michael Olise is almost a mirror to that. Very, very similar. And I feel like he'll flourish in this Bayern Munich side. I think it's time, I've written down here, Bayern Munich move away from pace and power and move towards touch and tease and trickery. That's where Bayern Munich might need to go this season. And with Vincent Company's ball-playing system, where he likes to play out from the back and overload wide areas and use those half spaces and use players that have intelligence on the ball to play this system, press hard the pitch from the front, I feel like Michael Olise ticks all those boxes. And there's a reason why they spent the fair chunk of money in him, and he was one of the first signings of this summer transfer window. He's the biggest to this day, because I think this is a move that was sort of thought about for Bayern Munich, but once Vincent Company got there, he said, this is the guy I want. I've seen him in the Premier League. I see what he's done. I've been big on him now for ages. I think he's such a talented player that needed a bigger club because he can flourish in this system with great players around him. We saw the way he was able to turn that around and perform fantastically at the back end of the season when he had players like Eze, and players like Jean-Philippe Mateta up top, other players of quality with him, he looked $1 million. So I feel like with a Harry Kane, Jamal Musiala, Joshua Kimmich, Leon Goretzka around him, the sky's the limit for this guy. And I'm really, really excited to see what he does with Bayern Munich this season. It was just a video about his move. Let me know your thoughts of it in the comment section down below. Do you think it's the right move, or do you think this is a move where he gets stuck on the bench and doesn't get the flourish at Bayern? Because in my view, I feel like he is going there as a starter. They're starting the right. Matisse Tell, Jamal Musiala as the left. Jamal Musiala can always be the 10 at times. You can go a really, really young group if you want. Michael Olise, Jamal Musiala in the 10, Matisse Tell on the left, Harry Kane up top. How's that for excitement? How's that for exhilaration? How's that for smarts and composure on the ball and trickery? Matisse Tell can be a sort of pacey, a direct player. Michael Olise can be the player that works in the spaces, can work alongside Jamal Musiala. I'm really excited to see how they work together. Two players with intelligence on the ball, like to play in tight areas, can dribble out of tight spots and create chance out of nothing. Where others struggle in these sort of areas like the Leroy Sané's, he thrives. He can create for himself, he can create for others, and I feel like it's just a star waiting to be born. A Premier League legend is lost. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, really, really big move for him. I had to make a video about it because I just think the fit here is going to be really, really fantastic at Bayern Munich as they look to bounce back this season and once again compete for Europe, once again go deep and try and win the Bundesliga and compete against the powerhouse that Bayer Leverkusen is starting to be. With that being said, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash a like on it, subscribe to the Players Zone channel for more videos like these as we come towards the summer, more transfer window type videos here, and also press that post notification bell so you know we upload more videos like these on the channel. With that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day. The football's coming up. Let's get excited for that. Enjoy the transfer window, and I'll see you guys in the video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.